on Guardians of the Galaxy. And I know that they're really tight with security and really tight about the way that you're talking and allowed to say anything. But what was your experience like there?
Guardians of the Galaxy was one of the funnest movies that I've ever worked on, and but the security was tight when I did the audition. Usually, you get an audition, and it has a specific thing to your character, and then the audition lines. Well, the audition lines made no sense. The character was big, ugly, and intimidating, which when it says those three things in a character role, I know I'm going to get the part. And but it also said no actors under 6'4". So the first thing I did was call my manager. I said, they know I'm only 6'1", right? Oh yeah, okay, good. And I get there and I do this audition, which didn't match the attitude of what the character called for. And so I asked the casting, I said, is this supposed to be big, mean, and intimidating? Because the lines are Mary had a little lamb. And she said yes, so I went ahead and did it. And then even the security on set, when they put us in a wardrobe, they put these tent things over us, made us look like some weird monks just to walk in between set. And you'd go into a big sound stage where everything happened, be given your sides on the way in, and you turned them in on the way out. And so it was exciting for me to watch Guardians of the Galaxy because it was one of the first movies I ever did where I didn't have the whole script. I really didn't know what happened. So that's how their security was, but it was just a blast. It was a lot of fun. No, I'll stop you. And I was like, all right, have it your way. and just plowed right over him, shoved him right off the stage into the green screen, and that's where that piece in the bloopers come up. But when it got to the ship, I go in there, and I'm expecting a chair on a green screen, we're going to pretend that we're seeing all these other things there. I go in there, there's the whole damn ship. I mean, there's a damn ship there. And I walked into James Gunn and I says, that's my ship? And he said, yep, that's your ship. I said, that's Horaz's ship, Captain Horaz's ship. And he says, yes, that's Captain Horaz's ship. And I says, you better rewrite the script. And he goes, what do you mean? I says, because if that's my ship, I ain't getting shot down. I'm going to kill everybody and become the next Marvel villain. And he started laughing because he figured, okay, this cowboy thinks he's going to rewrite the script. And I was like dead serious. But it didn't work out that way. But it was fun because it was such a non-acting job. I'm in a real ship that's like a flight simulator. I can see the other ship. I can see the ship that's going to shoot down the raccoon and the one that I'm after and everything like that. So it was like no stress for eyeline or anything like that. So that was a blast.
What do you do to psych yourself up for the role?
Say what?
What do you do to psych yourself up for the role, like when you're auditioning?
What do I do to psych myself up for a role depends on the role. Now and there's different things that you do. I always go with change my history of who I am. Now, if you know my work at all, you might know that I do almost every slave movie. 12 Years a Slave, Birth of a Nation, Roots, everything like this. And I'm always also the racist white guy, a bad guy in those. And so you have to, at that point, change your history, because to be truly a bad guy does not think he's a bad guy. Skeletor over there thinks he's working for the right team. He really does. That He-Man guy is just a steroid junkie that should be on a cereal box. And and you have to justify that. And like on those movies, you have to dig deep, go into a history where you can. That's kind of hard to pull yourself back out of too, because you're saying you got to make yourself look at them. Like I grew up on a ranch, obviously, and we had cattle. You brand the cattle. A horse breaks a leg, you have to put the horse down. I grew up with a family that your herd dog, you have these dogs, and that dog's got 6 months to herd cattle. And if you can't herd cattle, somebody's going to put him down. And that was kind of the background I grew up with. And so I had to make the slaves in each movie like they were livestock, like they're not people. And that's really wears on you after a while. Sometimes you do something like that to get back out of the character. I called my manager one time and I told her, I said, I need a plane ticket now. I need to get to my grandkids. Because my grandkids, I get there and the kids this size will climb all over me, and then you realize, yeah, we're still okay. So there's that psych up, and then the like horror films are just fun. When you're killing somebody in a horror film, it didn't really happen. You're not really a ghost. You're not really a monster. And half the time, the effects are not going to work. And that's always a crack up when that happens. You go to explode somebody's head, and the head don't explode, or it explodes the wrong way. And so it's a different psych up. Mostly, it's a psyche of changing me into that character, because I'm not much of an actor, so I have to just change my history to be that. I play me as that situation. Horror films, that's a hard one for me. I'm not a paranormal type guy, but I love the psychological thriller type. One of the ones I did that hopefully will still come out, they're working on, is called The Last Possession. And I played a grandfather that actually kills himself in the opening scene of the movie so that he can become a ghost to protect his grandchildren from another ghost. And it was just a really, really good concept. Another one that should be coming out is called Undying. A stunt buddy of mine, James Logan, is the one that wrote it. And just the fact that a stunt guy wrote the script, I cringed. Because he's my friend, and I didn't want to read the script and go, James, get a writer. But it was really, really good because it's a unique take on a zombie movie that is, this love story between a guy and a girl who make a deal with the devil to bring him back alive. And of course, if he comes back alive, he's a zombie. It's really good, and I'm still hopeful for those two to actually get a release. But that's the type of horror films that I lean towards, and I love horror films because I meet the horror film fans, and they're awesome, man. If you find anything more loyal than the cosplay people and the horror film fans, if you find anyone more loyal to you as an actor than that, it probably has 4 legs and will pee on your carpet.
One of the things is that you were also in Halloween, and you had that gruesome death scene where they actually snapped your neck. How many takes did that take, and were you nervous about them putting their hands around you?
That's a really good question. That took several takes, unfortunately, because it was icy cold. And when we first started the shoot on it, it was raining. And then when it quit raining, of course, to continue the shoot, they had to bring in rain machines. And the first time he snapped my neck, when my spinal cord popped out the back of the neck, it popped out wrong. And when the surgeons put the spinal cord back in, they sewed it up a little bit crooked in the back. And so I was, okay, I'm lying about that part, but I had it going for a minute, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Was anybody buying that?
Were you guys concerned? I was concerned.
I was concerned. I was definitely concerned. No, but you got someone when you do stunt work, and I've been a stunt coordinator and done a lot of stunt work. When you're choking someone, a good stunt person will never actually make the choke. They put their hand there. The person being choked makes the choke and the reactions. The same way when you snap someone's neck, your hands should be along for the ride. Your hands should just be along for the ride, and the person snaps their head. George didn't quite get that theory, but which still was fine because, as you notice, I really don't have a neck. I think my mother had sex with a Sasquatch, and that's how I got here. But I mean, I still call him Dad. You know, when we see him, it's just not often. He's still up there in the woods somewhere. But you know, so it was kind of scary and crazy because George couldn't see or feel what he was doing, and his hands got a little numb.
Any other questions?
I have a two-part question. We'd always like to know what is your personal all-time favorite movie, and then part two is what is your favorite candy, Halloween candy or regular?
Part two is first my all-time favorite movie, and then
What's your favorite candy?
my favorite candy. Okay, my all-time favorite movie is going to make this guy not want to hire me for his movie now. If I answer that honestly, my reputation's ruined.
But we'll get to know the real you.
Okay, so I have to answer honestly.
You can whisper it to me, and I will.
How about if I tell everybody here my all-time favorite movie, which it really is one of my all-time favorite, is Roadhouse, because I love grindhouse movies, and then I tell you later that my actual all-time favorite is Love Actually. Oh, did that go over the mic?
Yes, sir.
Ah, shit. Anyway, and my all-time favorite candy, you just can't beat the Hershey chocolate with the almonds in it. It's just not broke.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. My mom had extremely bad taste in men. And from the time I was 12 years old, I was having to knock the shit out of them. Pardon me, the language. And I wanted my daughters to never have that problem, never have that fear. And every martial art I'd went into had told me, if you get a black belt in this, size don't matter. You get a black belt in this, size don't matter. You get a black belt in this, size don't matter. Yeah, it does. Anybody that thinks size don't matter, step into a kickboxing ring with me. I'll show you size matters. But on the jiu-jitsu floor, size matters, but not as much. And when I first started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, one of the things when I felt like I had really accomplished something is when I put my 13-year-old daughter in a match, where I told this guy, 250-pound guy, to seriously go after her. Tried to hurt her, tried to choke her, tried to this, and he couldn't. Now, we let him go for like 14 minutes, and then I stopped it, where he could not hurt her. And I know this is the wrong subject for a convention, martial arts, and I'm not pitching any school, but moms, have your daughters take Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. End of conversation. I never insisted that my kids train in anything except for that. I don't know how that question came up with you or why, but especially for females, I think it's a life staple because it teaches you to fight from on the ground and on your back, and you're going to wind up there. You get in a fight with me, you're going to wind up on the ground and on your back. If you're not safe there, you're not safe. And so I apologize. This went the wrong subject. I know this is supposed to be about film and stuff, but this is something that I'm very passionate in, is protecting my kids. And so that's how I got into that, and it's worked really well for me, and it worked good for me. I got to admit, some of my cage fights were not knockouts. It worked best for me when I went to a cage fight after I had retired. And one of my friends, this is the cage fights, if your opponent don't show up, you don't get a paycheck. And one of my dear friends was there, and he was just panicked. We call him Pink, and he says, I don't know what to do. My fighter got in a car wreck on the way here. I don't have anybody to fight me. I said, don't worry about it, buddy. I'll fight you. And my wife, ex-wife now, said to me, wait, you're going to fight him? I thought you guys were friends. I said, we are friends. That's why I'm going to fight him, so he'll get a paycheck. And she said, so you're going to let him win? I said, no, I'm going to kick his butt. But had I had no choice but to knock him out, now the Boxing Commission won't let him fight for 90 days. Because he was my friend, I choked him unconscious. And he can fight tomorrow. There's no brain damage from it. Nobody ever died from being choked out. So that answers that question. Go ahead. My favorite what?
Set to work on.
My favorite set to work on. This is where I'm going to get in trouble again. I know I'm supposed to say one of the top ones. Guardians of the Galaxy was fun because James Gunn is such an awesome person. It really is. But I did a little horror film for an independent, Kevin Kangas, who always gets them out and gets the distribution on. And Kevin Kangas, the first movie I did with him was a film called Fear of Clowns 2, and for Lionsgate. I did that with him. And then he said, I'm writing a script for you. I'm writing a script for you. And I thought, everybody says that. Yeah, okay, right. I get it. And he comes back with the script Bounty, which is a spoof on Dog the Bounty Hunter, where he's hunting these people and finds out that they're infected with a zombie virus and everything like that. And that was one of the funnest sets I've been on. Because we're running down in West Baltimore. I don't know if any of you have ever been there, and white. It's a bad idea. But, dressed like bounty hunters. We're chasing this guy, and they said, go down 2 streets and cut in. And I said, okay. And they go, well, somehow they got miscommunicated, and we cut in on the wrong street. No, nobody down there, no, nothing like that. And I start climbing. This guy that I'm chasing is gone. So I think, what happened to our actors that we're chasing? And I looked up and I thought I saw somebody going to the side of the building. I said, oh, he must have went up this ladder thing here. There was a ladder up the outside the building. I start climbing up the outside the building, and I'm seeing marijuana plants out on the balconies and people looking at me and going like, reaching inside, they go like this, and I'm going, we're on the wrong damn street. And then we did this fake wreck, and we had actual police copters showing up because it was an independent film and you didn't have the permits that we were supposed to have. We filmed them. Bounty's on, it's on, what is it on? On Amazon. You should just check it out. It's a little spoof. He took a small amount of money and capitalized on the fact that reality TV don't need good lighting or good sound, and just went. Even though it looks to be unscripted, it was definitely scripted. We just had to shoot nonstop like it was not scripted. So that was one of my funnest. Guardians of the Galaxy, and Nashville was fun. The television series Nashville. I had a lot of fun doing Queen of the South. Because there was things when I did Queen of the South that just really worked out well for me. Matter of fact, it was another one of those things where I was supposed to get killed in my episode, and by the time I got done, the director and producer says, "No, we're not killing him. We might want to bring him back," and so that was fun.
Since you've done so many genres and different TV shows and movies, which one would you prefer doing more? Like, I know a couple of martial art film artists that I know, I was really shocked to find out that they enjoyed doing Western movies. versus what they traditionally everybody knew them for was martial art movies. So, a talented actor like yourself, which genre do you really enjoy doing?
That is the easiest to answer question for me. It's definitely the westerns. There's one out right now called Legend of 5 Mile Cave, where I played Virgil Earp. And the reason I'm just so in my element when I do those. I'm one of the only guys I know of that can straight arm load a Henry rifle from the back of a running horse, which means you got a lever action rifle and you're just throwing it. So I can do that true grit thing, only instead of with pistols, I'm flinging 2 rifles. And I'm a little bit of a narcissist, and so while I'm doing that, I feel like I'm a total badass and extremely sexy. so westerns are like my favorite, and you just like I just put out an album of southern rock western music, and it, like everything else I've done, I just do from passion. I won a guitar and an arm wrestle like 7 years ago, and so I started playing it and putting stories to it, and right now I've got 3 of my songs that are in the top 30. One of them held #1 slot for 6 weeks in the Euro charts, and one's right now just got cleared to be nominated for a Grammy. And so you can go to Tom Proctor Band, band page, and all my stuff's on Spotify, Amazon, and all of that stuff too. And it's listed as Tom Proctor Band or Tom Proctor and the A-Listers. Originally, we used a band that we were calling the A-Listers, which was actually Tim McGraw's old band, the Dance Hall Doctors, and we recorded in Nashville. Even that came about because I had a recurring role on a television series called Nashville, where I play Wayne, the best sound engineer in Nashville. And during the lunch break, I was playing my guitar, and one of the supervisors there says, whose song is that? And I said, it's mine. Are you registered with BMI and all that? And I don't know what BMI is. And next thing you know, one thing led to another. She hooked me up with Michael Whitney and some other people, and next thing I know, I'm back in Dark Horse Studio in Nashville recording an album that I'm just really pleased with, and we have them over at the desk, and we have I'm going to pitch here, the Tom Proctor Band shirts, Original Outlaw, they're all over there too, and so it all branches out into something different. I recently auditioned to do a musical, and I was so excited about it because the character is supposedly the greatest blues singer in the world, and he got that by selling the souls of his sons before they were born. And now the sons are coming back to go after him. It wound up not getting funded like a lot of the indies do and not going into fruition, but I was so excited about doing that. Actors sometimes get into their head that they're really great and they're the shit, but there's grips who light our scenes and make us look good. And they go very meticulous about getting the right lighting and the right stuff on us. And they're 2 hours before we get there, and they're there 2 hours after we leave. And people show up and say, Mr. Proctor, would you like some water? Would you like this? Or I get you a seat. Can I do this? Can I do that? And without them, and without people who show up at these things, and people that watch the movies and buy the movies, then I got to get a job as a plumber. And I mess up plumbing terribly every time I even mess with it. So, you're going to cause a lot of leaky sinks. Thank you very much.